So, friends, I welcome you all also for this. Now, in our today's discussion or interactive session, it is of about 3 hours. So, we will divide it in two parts for the benefit of all of us. In first part, say of about 90 minutes, we will have introduction such as what are the pillars of national education policy, then what do the education mean in this policy, what are the types of education which are given, what are the domains of education. So fundamental concepts which are necessary for all of us to refresh ourselves on those concepts, because once those foundational things are clear to us, the important part, that is various framework, common frameworks under which all the institutions of our country will be operating. So something which is common, why it is called as national policy. So what will be that under which each of us, whether we are at Amravati, Delhi, Srinagar or Chennai, anywhere we may be, but all of us will be guided or working under certain common framework. Flexibility, autonomy, yes, is it not there? It is there, but it will be under this common framework. So to go ahead with implementation of NEP, if these frameworks are we are aware of it, it will be better. So importantly, as Ankit has also told us about credit framework, qualification framework, and some outcome-based education's fundamental, that is curriculum framework. Those things we will try to touch upon. I will love to have some questions intermittently as well as at the end of the session. So with this, we will let us begin with our today's deliberation on implementation of NEP. So understanding domains of education and framework first, and then we will go into the details of each of the framework. So friends, today we will be talking about national education and policy. So these are the three important words which we will be talking about. Now, in few minutes, if we want to say why I'm insisting on three different words, you will find this policy is an evolved document. It started its evolution with when the last policy in somewhere 85, 86, our last education policy, when came into existence, from the same year, the evolution of this policy 2020 started. There are few important international and national events, milestones, on which you will find this policy is based. Few of them are: first was what is known as Washington Accord, which came into existence somewhere in 87, immediately inception of the last policy. All of us being from engineering fraternity, we know National Board of Accreditation and getting the, you can say, accreditation from National Board of Accreditation. Everybody of us are very well aware, and it was because of acceptance of Washington Accord. Few countries which were the signatories of that accord, India was one of them, and it necessitated that higher education, particularly technical education, will have certain parameters and benchmarks of quality, and those will be common for all the countries who have signed Washington Accord. So our standardization and quality assurance, those things came into our engineering education, and we started facing National Board of Accreditation. So this quality accept and making our all parameters matching with internationally accepted norms, that is one you will find is the pillar of this policy as well. Second change came somewhere in 90 to 93 when India officially accepted liberalization, privatization, and most importantly, globalization as our national policy. So education, we that time considered it had nothing to do with GATT agreement, but education was also the one of the considered as service sectors. So policy of globalization also necessitated alignment of our even education policy at par with international standard. So that is the second thing which you will find has got reflection in formulation and evolution of NEP 2020. Third, somewhere it was in 1997 when at United Nations of Organization, an important, you can say, report came for discussion, and that report, all of us know, was our common future. And there the concept of sustainability and sustainable development came into existence, and almost all countries became the signatory of accepting, henceforth in 21st century, the concept of sustainability and sustainable development. And somewhere in 2004, 2003, 4, the Bonds Declaration came into existence, wherein this sustainability development and concept of sustainability was put on the shoulder of education in general and technical education in particular. So we will find that your mandate of sustainability and sustainability development goal, there are 17 goals. So in this policy, at number of places, SDG 4 is mentioned. So that is one we have got impact on this policy as well. And then came IT revolution, wherein from banking or share market or all other sensitive areas, they were completely revolutionized by the IT revolution. And many of the, you can say, members of related to education policy, they found that enrollment to higher education is much below. Say in the state like Maharashtra also, it was only around 25%. So the mandate was to increase the gross enrollment ratio, and obviously the method of achieving increase in enrollment ratio was using IT and IT enabled education. That is how the you can say concept of equity and access also you will find in this policy. So all these national, international important events and commitments, you will find they are reflected in formulation and implementation of this policy. So as a result, there are 5 pillars of you can say foundation pillars for national education policy 2020. Access equity, you will find enhancing or increasing the gross enrollment ratio and getting same type of quality education wherever a learner is located, whatever may be the mode of learning. But that you can say the equity means to getting the same type of standardized quality education, similar, you can say, qualification for the same type of learning. That type of equity is reflected in this policy. So along with access, equity is another pillar. Quality comes from accreditation and Washington Accord. Affordability is, of course, again from sustainability, because social is one of the important pillars of sustainable development, economics and social. So you will find SDG also having reflection. And most important, which is new to our education system, is something, the pillar of accountability. Who is accountable? For what we are accountable? So this is very to be cleanly understood, because the fifth pillar, an important and new pillar of this policy, is accountability. Probably up till now, this word accountability was not very much attached with the higher education, you can say, arena. But now this accountability, that is how the outcome-based education decide the outcome, and then you are accountable if we are not getting that expected outcome. So everything is changed from teachers to learner and from general to outcome based education. So these are the important pillars we should understand, because at later stage of our discussion, some references of this, one of some of the pillars will always we will find in our discussion. So I just repeat that NEP is a evolved document. All, you can say, those important world happenings over last 20-25 years have got reflection on this policy, and the policy is based on 5 foundation pillars. Now this whole policy has got various 4 parts are there, but for our today's discussion we will limit to only part 2, that is higher education. And amongst higher education also we will be only you can say, limiting our discussion about framework under which this policy will be implemented. Now, before we start discussing about framework, we have to understand some terminologies very clearly defined in this policy. Now, since it is national, education, and policy. So here, why it is national, we have understood everything from local to national aligned with global. This is the journey. So this policy is nothing but in a way journey from local to global through national. So this is what national word importantly is there. Now a second word, that is education. So in this policy, before we go for frameworks, understanding of framework, let us understand how does the policy look at the concept of education. Now, here you will find that very clearly in this policy, what is education is very clearly given. What for education is very clearly given. These are the two fundamental questions. We are in the field of education. We are education provided. What does it mean? We say that we provide education. So this concept of education is very clearly given. And second question, what for? Suppose I am imparting education, learner is gaining education. What for I am imparting and what for that learner is gaining. So purpose of educating the people is also very clearly given. We will have to understand because it reflects on fifth pillar, that is accountability. Then what are various domains of education? So there are three domains. Skilling is the fourth one. We will discuss it. And types of education, because this policy expects integration of various types of education. Let it be academic education, vocational education, professional education. So various types of education we should understand, because this policy expects multidisciplinary and networking of various types of education. Yeah, and that is how we are expected to provide it. So let us understand in this policy, what is the concept given about education? To summarize, the policy has accepted the concept of education as manifestation of perfection already existing in individual. All of us know that this type of concept is given by Swami Vivekananda. So, this policy has also considered the Western thoughts also, but finally, the acceptance of concept of education is something is already there. When any human is there, some sort of perfection is already there, and our role is to manifest, to help that individual to manifest the perfection within it. So with acceptance of definition of education as manifestation already existing in individual, our role as teacher gets shifted from only teaching to a facilitator role. So this is the main, you can say, change as far as we the teachers are concerned. Our main role will be many counselor. We will have to act as a counselor, but main our role will be as a facilitator rather than you can say only tellings preacher. So preaching is secondary and facilitation is primary. This is the something we have to derive from the definition accepted by NEP. And as per NEP, education integrates three, you can say, things: knowledge, attitudes, and skills. So whole policy, when we say that we educate somebody, it means we are facilitator. We have to play the role of facilitator to help the learner to take out already, you can say, whatever are perfections within that. So we'll have to identify the speciality of individual and we have to help that individual to excel into those areas, those skills which are inherently with that individual. And when we say we impart education, it means we have to give work on three areas: knowledge, attitude, and skills. And we have to ensure when we impart education, we integrate the complex of knowledge, attitude, and skills. So this is the foundation on which our curriculum, etc., will be based. Later on, we will see also. Now, these Western thoughts are also mentioned in the documents or instruments related with NEP. So, concept of Socrates, Plato, Aristotle are also considered. But finally, the manifestation of perfection you will find that is what is accepted by NEP. But that definition of NEP is in alignment with the concept of education of Western thinkers as well. So now when we go, now we have understood what is education, and we let us understand what are the domains of now education. As I told you, it will be the complex of knowledge, skills, and attitude. So here also, as per NEP, the three domains of education are stated. One is affective domain, second is psychomotor domain, and first one is cognitive domain. So we say that we operate in the field of education, we are education providers. It means we operate in three domains. One is cognitive domain, second is psychomotor domain, and third is affinitive domain. You can say cognitive domain consists of various stages. 8 stages are there, and it is about information, understanding, thinking, and knowledge. Now, amongst this cognitive domain, you will find stages are mentioned. That is Bloom's taxonomy: remembering, understanding, application, analysis, evaluation, and future. So, depending upon the level of education, we have to understand and give justice to the level of cognitive domain. So whether we should give thrust on memorizing or understanding or application, so depending upon level at which we are operating. So definitely, since we are operating in higher education level, the remembering is the lowest. So memorized based education will be, you can say, have least content, while analysis, evaluation, and synthesis will have more content. In this cognitive domain also, there are two types of knowledge component. One is descriptive knowledge and another is procedural knowledge. Why we should understand these two, you can say, types of knowledge as well? Because when we will impart or when we will evaluate or assess, we should have clear understanding whether we are talking about descriptive part or procedural part. Descriptive knowledge means something knowing that. So it is this type of knowledge is expressed through theories, concepts, and principles. So more of a theoretical part of it. But here, the more, even though it appears to be more of factual, but focus of education will not merely remembering this fact, but ability to reason why these fixed facts are true. So this is what, when we give descriptive knowledge, we have to know, understand that it is not about memorizing something like define or state, not like that, but it is about why these facts are true. That should be our focus when we impart or assess descriptive knowledge component. Another is procedural knowledge, that is knowing how. So this part is more of about skilling or problem solving or reasoning or critical thinking. This is what is the more important domain of uh, procedural knowledge component of the knowledge domain. And we have to give more emphasis in procedural knowledge component when we will be dealing with, you can say, cognitive domain. So as per Bloom's revised taxonomy, remembering is at the bottom of the pyramid. So where recalling the information is expected, as we say that recite the poem or recite the table. So for school education, probably remembering or memorizing has got more base. But in our higher education, whenever only new concept comes where we are expecting somebody to remember or memorize certain facts, that component will come. But In higher education, more emphasis will be on understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. So you will find that our, you can say, routine summative or formative examination, it will be more based on, questions will be based on understanding, applying, and analyzing. While our project-based learning, minor project, major project, it will based on evaluating and creating. So keeping this Bloom's taxonomy and levels of a cognitive domain in mind, we have to design our curriculum, we have to impart the curriculum, and we have to evaluate, assess, or examine the student. While doing this, we have to keep the stages of domain and types of, you can say, cognition, the two types of knowledge component we should keep in mind. The second domain is about doing or skilling, what is known as psychomotor domain. And in this, again, there are levels, Bloom's taxonomy, from perception, set, guided response, mechanism, complete overt response, adoption, and organization. In the school, we know, or in many competitions, we know that get, set, go. So these are perception, setting, and guided response. Probably in our first year, first or second semester practicals, we may be imparting guided response level of psychomotor domain, where the student, you can say, imitates and practices whatever has been told by the teacher. But as we go from at higher level, second year, third year, final year, they should move from guided response to mechanism, complete overt, and adoption and organization. So we have to keep levels of psychomotor domain as well. When we design the curriculum, we impart it or we evaluate it. In this skill domain also, there are two important components of skill domain. That is capacity or skill. It is the ability needs to be consistent and repeatable, and it is, should be adaptable to different situations. There are two terminologies. One is competencies and learning outcomes. We should be very clear, because our, you can say, henceforth, stress will be on psychomotor domain along with academic domain or cognitive domain. So these are competencies are observable and can be assessed systematically. So they are derived from curricular course and expected to be attained by the end of stage. So end exam, something like that. But learning outcomes are attained over the period of time. Therefore, interim markers, continuous examination of we have to observe and track learning and respond to the needs of learner continually. So learning outcomes are for continuous assessment. So we observe, analyze the need, and modify ourselves accordingly. That will be learning outcome, while competency is to be proved at the end of the, you can say, stage of that particular, or what we call it, semester, year, end of the subject, something like that. Now, the competencies for the are to be developed in, they are in two types: basic skills and allied knowledge of work, and essential values while working with specific vocation. So we have to keep these 2 points in mind when we develop the competency among the student. So as I was saying, psychomotor domain is also having, you can say, 7 steps from perception to organization. And as the level of education changes, our whole education is now converted into level-based education. And those levels are from level 1 to level 8. From level to 1 to 4, they are for school education. So when we say 12th standard, now henceforth it will be level 4. And for we, the higher education, our level will start from above level 4, that is 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5, and 8. 8 is PhD, and 4.5, what we call it as first year of higher education. So as we are converting education into competency-based education, level-based education, so we have to understand levels of each of these domain, cognitive domain, psychomotor domain, affinity domain, and we have to understand at which level we are working with, and according to the level expected outcome, we have to work into the stages of either cognitive, psychomotor, or affinitive. Say, for example, since we are working in higher education, for us, important starts from a guided response, and by final year or say by a postgraduate or PhD, we will be operating in the organization level. So where we are working with, depending upon that, the stage has to be mapped, identified, and particularly with that stages, as we go higher and higher, we have to impart the education. This is what is expected when we say it is a level-based education. Third domain is affective domain. It talks about values and dispositions. In the implementation, in formulation as well as implementation of NEP 2020, the equal importance is given to this affective domain as well. So earlier we were working more in academic domain. Now we will be have to give equal focus along with academic domain or cognitive domain on skills domain, training so domain, that is psychomotor domain, as well as values and dispositions domain, that is affective domain. So these values are beliefs about what is right and wrong, while dispositions are attitudes and perceptions that form the basis of behavior. So this is very important now as per NEP to imbibe values and dispositions in the student when they are in education stage itself. For we, the higher education, we should understand the levels of this domain as well. It is receiving, responding, valuing, organization, and internalizing. These are the stages of affective domain, value or disposition. So depending upon the level, say first year that is level 4.5 or final year level 6. So at what level we are, you can say, imparting and learner is learning, according mapping with the level, we have to imbibe values and disposition, but it will start from right school level itself. So here also, there are 6 stages in affective domain also. Affective receiving domain, responding, valuing, organization, and internalizing. Now the definitions and sample verbs are already given. I will not read it because we have to just understand these are the 3 domains. Now, taking 1 minute, you can say, reback what we have understood up till now. We have understood the process, how national education policy got evolved. So we know that it is the evolution of almost 3 decades of happening nationally as well as globally. And the document, what we call is at NEP, is a evolved document. And it is supported by international happenings, international commitments, international agreements. So it is the outcome of 3 decades of various, you can say, changes globally as well as nationally. Second thing, we have understood what is education, and here concept of education is manifesting the perfection already existing in. So role of teacher has dramatically changed from preaching to facilitating. So this is what we have understood. Then we have understood once the education means it will be operating in the complex of 3 domains. So cognitive domain, psychomotor domain, and affinitive domain. Now each of these domains, let it be cognitive, psychomotor, or affinitive, we know that there are various levels or stages in each of the domain. And the way as we go higher in that levels, the higher and higher stages of that domain has to be applied with. So we have seen the stages of each of the domain, and now we have just been introduced that our higher education will be from level 4.5 to 8, while overall rating of leveling, the education is from level 1 to 8, up to level 4 is school education, 12th standard, and 4.5 means first year of our higher education, and 8 means PhD level. So we will be working, since we are in higher education sector, we are in the level of 4.5 to 8, and we will be working with higher levels of all three domains of cognitive, psychomotor, and affinitive. So with this recap, let us understand what are various types of education given in the instrument of NEP or in the policy of NEP. First, why we have it is necessary for us to understand types, because the fundamental principle of NEP is integration of all types of education and to provide multidisciplinary education of all types in undergraduate or postgraduate level. So first, generally, which we are very much aware, first type of education is academic education. Now, this academic education was mainly focused on information and knowledge domain. And we all, up till now, higher education or school education people, we are very well aware of this academic education, and we are expertise because all the over so many years, our main focus was on cognitive domain, that is academic education. Now here the various types are very clearly demarcated. Vocational education is integrates complex of knowledge, attitude, skills for particular occupation. So related with focus on particular occupation, knowledge, attitude, skills, hands-on. When it is given, we call it as vocational education. So vocational education is quite different than academic education because this vocational education has got close link of knowledge and skill to particular specific practical challenge and work situation in the economy. And vocational education aims to acquire definite set of practical competencies in specific areas of work in the economy. Now, up till now, vocation, MCVC, right from 10th, 11th, 12th itself, we used to get a vocational education was getting separated from academic education. But NEP expects integration of vocational education along with academic education. Third type of education is professional education, wherein all of us work. So it prepares the professional for ethics and importance of public purpose in that discipline. So it is the education for more practice. So it is morely centrally involved critical and interdisciplinary thinking, discussion, debate, research, innovation. And professional education now NEP says it should not take place in isolation. So professional education gets integrated with vocational, it gets integrated with academic, and the fourth type of education is technical education. It includes degree, diploma in engineering, technology, management, architecture, town planning, pharmacy, etc. So these are various types of education. Why we should understand this type of education? Because the main, you can say, highlight of NEP policy is integration of all domains as well as integration of various types of education as well. Now, what the once we have understood what is education, what are domains of education, what are types of education. Now, important is what for education, why we should impart education, and why learner should take education. So you will find very clear mandate is given to us. Remember the fifth pillar, accountability. So what for we the university institutes, we the teacher are accounted for? The mandate given to us is we must prepare students for more meaningful and satisfying lives. We have to prepare students for their future job roles, and we have to prepare students to enable them for economic independence. So this is the mandate given to the education provider, that we have to ensure that learner will lead meaningful, arthapurna. It's not used the word successful. The word meaningful is used, and satisfying life. That responsibility is given on our shoulder. Second thing, we have to prepare students for their future job roles or work roles. What does it mean? When we impart education in institute or when we design the curriculum, we have to keep in mind the changing work roles and job roles in the economy, and according when the student pass out after 4 years and goes into job say after 6 7 years, that time whatever work role that student is will be expected to do, for that we have to prepare when he is in right from first year with us. So this is the second mandate or purpose of education given. And third is we have to make student capable as far as economic independence is considered. So our direction what for education is very clearly defined in this policy. And the way also is given how we will go so that our student will lead meaningful and satisfying life, or they will be ready for their future job roles, or they will become enable economic independent. The role is we have to enable individual to study one or more specialized areas of interest at deep level, very clearly given. We have to understand the area of interest and we have to impart that individual to study one or more specialized area in depth. But simultaneously, we have to develop character. And third thing, we have to develop 21st century capabilities across the range of discipline, including science, social science, art, humanities, language, professional, technical, and vocational subjects. So this is the way given to us. We have to walk on this path to enable students to lead meaningful life and to be ready for job role. So what is the, you can say, take away from this first policy statement, that we will have a complex of three domains as well as integration of various disciplines, including professional, technical, vocational, social science, art, humanities, and sciences. So all three domains have to be taken care of, and various types of education also will be integrated when we say we are imparting higher education. According to the verticals of subjects and courses are taken out, later on we will see. But this is what for education and how to work this to give this type of education. This is the mandate given in this policy. The purpose of education is also very clearly given. It aims at producing engaged, productive, contributing citizens for building equitable, inclusive, plural society as envisaged in our institution. Our aim is not only to develop cognitive, you can say, part of it, but build character and holistic, well-rounded individual with 21st century skills. So this is what is very clearly mandate given to us. We will be giving, imparting three domains and at higher levels of, you can say, each of the domain. This, and the purpose is very clearly defined in this policy. Now, once very clearly what is education, what are types of education, what for education, how, what way we have to walk, when it is very clearly defined, the vision statement also says that development of vocational capacities will go hand in hand with academic and other capacities. The vision statement is there. We have to GR to be, you can say, increase. Alignment with sustainability goal is to be given. So as I was saying, you will find footprints of sustainability, footprints of, you can say, Washington Accord, footprints of IT revolution. With that, the vision statement is there, and the reforms which will be are expected to be brought through this NEP is to overcome the social status. We presently feel that vocational education is inferior to academic education. But here, the main reform will be vocational education will be integrated and will be brought at par with social status point of view with academic education. Then integration of vocational education will be the another reform, and it will be made mandatory everywhere. Along with vocational education, the skill education is also we are expected to provide, and it will be in partnership with industry or NGOs. We are expected to use ODL also, open distance learning, or online learning also, the when we will impart the education. So important summary of these reforms is education must move towards less content and more towards more learning and critical thinking and problem solving. So this is the guideline given to us when we, you can say, frame the syllabus. It says that don't make it too bulky, but it is make it more learning should happen, and critical thinking and problem solving should be the mandate of our syllabus framing. It should be multidisciplinary, and it should be flexible enough for adapting with changes. We have to ensure to develop not only cognitive capacity, but higher order cognitive capacity. This is the mandate along with, you can say, other two domains. Skilling is made very important component of education. So institutions are permitted to run short-term skilling courses approved by UGC or AICT, maybe of duration of 3 months and 6 months. But it has, we will see later on, it has to be assessed by some competent authority. The skill gap analysis, skilling courses are important component along with those three domains. So we have to ensure in our regular, you can say, education system now, 3 months courses, 6 months courses for our student as well as anybody who has completed level 4, they will be, you can say, provided with continually changing and as per demand the skilling courses. So it will be very dynamic in nature. Presently, the UGC report says that over few years, 85 million jobs will be lost because of the outdated hands-on or skills. But they are expecting 97 million new ones will be created. So we have to prepare the students by giving short-term skilling courses along with our regular education for the ever-changing economic situation. Presently, UGC report said present demand is by BFSI, pharmaceutical, e-commerce, IT, ITES sectors. You will find recent World Economic Forum report says 85% of new job will need some, you can say, skill on artificial intelligence or data science, cyber security, information security. So whether you are from which part of engineering, science, arts will be immaterial, but everybody will require some skill on 86% of the jobs are expected, which will require AI enabled profession. So such type of changes will always be there, and NEP expects that higher education institutions or sector will dynamically offer short-term courses in this, you can say, ever-changing skill requirement. And HEI, as per policy, higher education institutions are also allowed to conduct short-term certificate courses. It should be minimum of 12 credit, maximum of 30. Now, what are the credits? We will later on, you can say, see what do we mean by credit, etc. But this is something new component of education system that along with our regular degrees, those will be definitely in three domains, but simultaneously 3 months, 6 months, 12 credit, 30 credit courses will have to be offered, and we will have permission to conduct such courses. Of course, there are certain restrictions that we will see what are those types, and work integrated training and other models are expected. Partnership with industry expected in this policy. And So with this fundamental part of, you can say, our policy, let us have small recap, 5 minutes question answer before we enter into second part of it. So as a recap, what we have understood is this national education policy is a evolved document, and it has, you can say, footprints, or you can say reflection of many national and international agreements, changes such as Washington Accord, India's policy of globalization, wherein education is also one of the service sector, then concept of sustainability and sustainable development, then you can say revolution, I will call use the word, information technology, and everywhere IT enabled services. Now IT enabled education will come. So these are the sum of the global and national level, you can say, events which are, you will find it footprints in this policy. Now this policy has got major 5 foundational pillar that we have seen. Accountability is one of the important pillar which was earlier not there. As per policy, we have understood what is education. So our role as of teacher has changed from preacher to a facilitator and counselor. So our role will be more of helping students. So everything is now learner centric from teacher centric. In whole policy, hardly any time teaching and teacher word is used. Everywhere learning and learner word is used. So shift is from teacher centric, teaching centric to the learner centric and learning centric. Mode of learning is not important, outcome is important. We give education means we develop the inherent qualities in 3 domains: cognitive domain, psychomotor domain, and affinitive domain. Each domain has got various levels. So when we say we impart education, means we impart those attributes depending upon the learning level of the student. So our whole education is getting converted into level-based education, competency-based education that we have seen. And finally, our what for education. So clear 3 mandates are given. We have to prepare students for their meaningful and satisfying lives. So if the student do not lead meaningful, satisfying life, probably somewhere with the education people sector may be held responsible. We have to prepare students for their future job roles. So our system has to be future looking. So when we design the curriculum, when we impart the curriculum, we have to keep eye on the economic work situation 6 7 years from today, and according to that we have to prepare students so that they will be fit when they enter into their real life. That's what is expected. And for that, mandate is given that integrate all types of education. So vocational education, ethical education will be the integral part of higher education. There will not be anything like standalone engineering education, something like that, or standalone science college, standalone commerce college. It will be the blend of various, you can say, disciplines, including science, technology, mathematics, humanities, vocational. So they will be all integral part of higher education. So integration of various domains and various types is another feature. And with this foundation, now we will be entering into the common framework under which all of us will be operated. Friends, now last word, we are, NEP means journey from local to national, to global. So local to global through nationals. For that, common framework is provided in NEP by the instruments of implementation of NEP. And once we understand those instruments, those frameworks, under which everybody of us will be operating irrespective of type of institution, where it is located, or which type of university it belongs to. So irrespective of that, throughout nationally, everybody will be operating under one, you can say, framework. There are various frameworks, so we will understand those frameworks now. So let us, I will wait just for a few minutes. If any questions for this preliminary or introductory part of about 1 hour we had, so let us understand if anything, anybody will like to have interaction or discussion.
Friends, the forum is open for question answer. If you have any kind of queries or the question with related to this part, you can directly ask to Professor Marathe sir. Please anyone. It will be very appreciable.
Hello,
Yes,
Yes,
Dr. Vijay sir, please.
sir. As you are saying, after the implementation of NEP, teacher's role is going to change from preacher to facilitator. So, will not change the attitude or mindset of the teachers?
it has to be, sir, because now from teacher centric, it will be learner centric and it will be outcome based. So outcome based means first we will decide what is at the end of everything. Suppose at the end of our today's session, what is expected, that has to be very clearly stated. And then it will have to be measured whether expected outcomes are achieved or not. So these two things will become very important, and it will be on the learner will have to demonstrate that whatever was expected, the learner has achieved. And if the learner achieves it, then only certifications or credits, etc., will have to be given. So we have to make learners more sensitive and more participative at their own. For that purpose, the pace of learning, interest of learning, areas of learning, everything, that flexibility is being provided to the learner. But up till now, the system was teacher centered or teaching centric or institutional centric system. We will have to change our mindset, because henceforth, from where the student has learned, it will slowly become redundant. 40% of learning a student can do on online platforms. That has already come in as a order. Tomorrow, student can earn credits from various sources. So from or what mode, it is face-to-face mode or online mode or experiential learning. So online, offline, formal, informal, mode of learning is going to become redundant. Even the policy will be completely enforced. But attainment of expected outcome will be important. So what will be our role? Whether student learns from me or from Swayam is redundant. As long as the expected outcome the student is able to demonstrate. So my role as a teacher becomes, I have to facilitate student so that he comes to the expectation of learning outcome. So if he is learning from Swayam, so I have to help him to better learn from Swayam rather through my class. So that type of shift is likely to come. Many of the students will learn from project-based learning, through flipped learning, through internship. So what is my role in when the student is undergoing internship? So I will be only facilitator. I cannot be there. I will not be with him in the internship. A student will be having under somebody else supervision when the student undergoes internship. So as a teacher, that time what will be my role? I will have to be a more guide, supervise, more of a friend, more of a philosopher rather than a preacher. This type of changes, when we see the verticals of NEP, that time you will find that a student has to earn credit from various verticals, from project, from internship, from field work, from social work. So everywhere teacher cannot be a preacher. He has to only a supportive, the teacher has to play a supportive role in that. So that type of change will come when NEP is fully implemented, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Yes, anyone else?
Should we go
Hello.
ahead? Yeah.
Hello, sir. In case of rural areas, the
Yeah.
student facing the internet facility, network facility means problem. So, in NEP, how we can tackle those things?
Sir, there are definitely certain challenges as far as physical infrastructure, internet connectivity, internship opportunities, availability of faculty. Those are constraints are definitely there presently. So one thing is very sure, unless the government comes out in support, fully supporting as far as faculty requirement is concerned, opportunities. Say when we talk about multi-entry, multi-exit, are there job opportunities given for certificate holder? Are there job opportunities or earning opportunities given for those who leave after second year with diploma? So those challenges are there. But the policy says that by 2030, SDG related, sustainable development related expectation should be completed. And by 2040, policy will be totally being implemented. So by that time, sir, even role of UGC AICT will also change. Presently, they are regulator, then they will be facilitator. Their role is also going to change from regulatory authority. One single regulatory authority will come in India, National Higher Education Regulatory Authority, and all other bodies like UGC, AICT, etc. They will have advisory role. So those changes will come. But what policy presently states that the only classroom or one single discipline related education does not prepare student in real life. A student has to face in a multidisciplinary situation, and the learn how to learn, that is the main thing institute has to provide, because with time the students have to learn continually. After 3 4 years new technology comes, new system comes. That time old whatever learning and skills a student had, they become redundant. Now in coming year that redundancy will be very high space. So what is expected from educational institutions is to make student more of self-independent. So how to learn is to be only taught, truly speaking. Rest of the things, once fundamentals are given, we have to provide opportunities to learn. So self-learning at own space is, you can say, sort of a mantra in this. And more of experiential learning and project-based learning thrust is given. Now, this is what is expected. Now, whether you are in rural area, in villages, or in, you can say, urban areas or metros, that will not much matter, because once problems related to rural, local areas are taken and solutions are found, problem solver for the problems in and around you, that concept is really understood well, then region it will not be more specific. Second thing, IT is, or networking or high-speed internet or availability of, you can say, devices like mobile is definitely expected. Now, what I feel, henceforth, what we used to call support to the student in the form of only scholarship, tomorrow, support in digital form may also come. We may have digital centers where students will get permission to go and join. They may get digital devices. That type of help may come in coming years, so that anytime, anywhere, anybody, from anywhere, that type of learning and experience learning will not be something which is taken or given by somebody, but it will be through experience. One has to learn by experiencing. That type of concept will come. So probably for a few years we may feel that there are certain constraints as far as locations are concerned, but tomorrow I don't think it will be a much problem. So let us hope things will be there for betterment. But what policy says is that ultimately you decide what is required for a certain profession or a certain level. You find out, clearly specify what attributes are expected for various levels and ensure attainment of those attributes and measure it some through competent authority. That type of pattern will come in our education system. Nilesh sir, does it satisfy to some extent your query?
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so sir, I think shall we take a break of 5 or 10 minutes and then we will
Yeah,
continue
yeah,
if you could
yeah,
permit.
right, right. We will take a break of 5 or 10 minutes and we will
Okay, sir,
rejoin.
we will take the break of 10 minutes and sharp at 4:25 we will reassemble, sir.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, so participants, there will be a break of 10 minutes and then we will continue. Okay, so sir, shall we start, sir?
Yes, Ankit. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
May I?
Yes, sir. Please. We can start,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you. So, friends, within few minutes, if I recap, because that is what we will require to again reconnect ourselves with what we have seen, we have very clearly understood the, you can say, mandate, or what we say that pillars of NEP. So we have to keep in, you can say, mind that the concept of education is now very clear. Accordingly, our role is also changed from preacher to a facilitator and counselor. Second thing, whole system is getting changed from teacher-centric, teaching-centric, institute-centric to learner-centric and learning-centric. Third thing, mode of learning is not important. It can be online, offline, face-to-face, blended, any types of learning, but attainment of outcome is important. That is one more thing. And when we say we are in the education provider means we are working in three domains: cognitive, psychomotor, and affinitive. So we have to give equal weightage or focus on all these three areas, and each of the domain is now level based. So whole education is getting converted to level based education and competency based education. And our mandate is very clear that we have to provide education means we have to imbibe attributes and capacities and capabilities into the learner so that they are fit for their future job roles, they are fit to be economically independent, and they are fit to lead satisfying and meaningful life. So this is what our mandate is, and we have to provide when we say that we are education provider. Now, with this clear objectives and alignment or the journey from local to national and from national to global, so local to global, so standardization with international norms is also our journey when we say we are implementing NEP. Now, with this mandate, with this objective, and with this purpose of education, there is something which is called as framework, so that everybody of us operates under this common framework. So is our autonomy in danger? No. But are we completely free? Answer is again no. There is concrete framework given, and under that sort of a, you may call it as a rigid framework, inside it, we are free to provide or exercise our liberty or autonomy. So with this understanding, let us understand what are various frameworks under which NEP, when it says it is implemented, it will be. There are mainly three types of framework, mainly, but we will be, you can say, focusing today on three important types of national level frameworks which are in alignment with international standard. First is credit framework. Second is qualification framework, in which concept of qualification, qualification levels, and qualification descriptors are very clearly given, and we have to understand and implement it very scrupulously, these qualification descriptors too. And third, today we will be discussing learning outcome based curriculum framework, that is curriculum framework, commonly known as LOCF. And fourth is verticals of NEP, which are in accordance with these three important framework. So let us understand what is this credit framework all about. The document which anybody of us or all of us should refer to understand this credit framework is National Credit Framework NCRF document, you will find it is from UGC, AICTE, NCBT, DOACL, DOHE, Ministry of Education, MSD, CBSC, NCRT, NIGS, and DGT. So almost you can say regularity bodies, and those who are in the you can say helm of affairs of education in general in India, all those statutory regularity bodies are involved in formulation of this national credit framework. I request all of you in detail, if anybody wants to go through it, please go through this document. Let me try to put up the bird's eye view or gist of this national credit framework. Now, this national credit framework talks about credit instead of marks. So we are shifting only from marks to credit framework. All we in across the university, we are already aware of this credit framework because choice-based credit system and credit earlier CGS, we are already implementing it. So we have the idea of credit framework. Let us go into little bit depth with reference to NEP now. Now, this credit framework is based on certain principle that credits are function of achieving the desired learning outcome for a program, for a course, for a determined, or for a training, which will be determined by successful assessment. So three words are important: achievement of desired learning outcome, assessment of achievement, and duration of that course, which will lead to earning of credit. So credits are to be earned after showing that a peculiar duration of program or learning has undergone and the desired learning outcomes are achieved by the learner, and it has to be done by some competent assessment agency. So this is the first principle on which credit framework is based. Now, from where the credits can be earned, the National Credit Framework encompasses the following component or dimension of learning. Remember, it is to be earned by learner. It is not to be gifted by teacher. So you will find everywhere word learning is mentioned, not teaching. So it has nothing to do with teaching load or teaching hours. It is all about learning workload and learning hours. Now, these credits have to be earned from where? It can be earned from completed academic education. We know there are three domains of education. One domain is academic domain or cognitive domain. Second is psychomotor domain. Third is affinitive domain. So credits can be earned from academic domain. It can be earned by psychomotor domains by undergoing certain vocational education, certain training, certain skilling program. Of course, the premise is remains same. Learning outcome will have to be said, it have to be measured, and only after attainment of those learning outcomes, credit will be given. But it can be from cognitive, it can be from psychomotor, or it can be from experiential learning, or whatever is the level achieved. See, again, what level is important. What level of proficiency or professionalism is achieved. So wherever learning happens, maybe in cultural program, maybe in sports program, maybe in social program, maybe research program, maybe internship, maybe any other form of experiential learning, maybe formal learning, maybe informal learning. So wherever learning happens, from all learnings, credits can be earned. Now, with learning, that credit will be given once duration of that learning, the attainment of learning outcome. Once these two things are there, credits can be earned from any type of, you can say, domain of education. This is the important dimension of national credit framework, and notional hours are related with earning of credit. Remember, it has nothing to do with marks. It has to do something with hours. So it is made with international best practice. So you will find when we are talking about local to national, simultaneously it is getting automatically aligned with international because it has come after mapping with international practices and standard. It has been brought as a national standard. So in accordance with the international best practices, this framework proposes number of credits per year will be of minimum 1200 learning hours and credit will be 40. So what does it mean? What we presently call as one academic year, or presently we say that one academic year consists of two semesters if it is tri-semester system. If it is tri-semester system, we say that it consists of 3 semesters. But presently, if we go by our present system, we have got one academic year, and one academic year consists of 2 semesters. Now, henceforth, we will be calling one academic year as 180 teaching days or 1200 learning hours. And after undergoing 1200 learning hours, a student will be able to earn minimum 40 credits. So minimum 1200 learning hours and minimum 40 credit will be termed as one academic year. So obviously one semester must have minimum 600 learning hours, notional learning hours, and that will entail student to earn 20 credits. Additional program, additional course can be taken by the student. So fast learner can also get more than 20 credits per semester, but minimum credit any student or learner will have to earn in a year will be 40, in a semester it will be 20. So this is what is the, you can say, relation between notional hours and credit. So for every 1200 hours of learning, student can earn, you can say, 40 credits. And from credits and the level under which the student, so it will be level based, learning hour based, credit based. So level and credits earned together, their multiplication will give the credit point. This is the way you can say this credit framework will be in operation. Say for example, first year of undergraduate program, what we call after 12th standard, a student enters into first year. Let it be first year BCom, first year BSc, or first year B. We will say that student is in the level 4.5. So after completion of first year, what will it mean? It means after learning of minimum 1200 hours and after earning minimum 40 credits, we will say that student have completed level 4.5 and credit points will be 180. So this is how 40 into 4.5 credits earn multiplied by, you can say, level of, you can say, learning. So this is how learning hours, notional learning hours are related with credit point. Credit points and level of learning are related with credit points. So hours, credit, and credit points and level, they are interrelated through this framework. So for each semester, now this is the takeaway for us. When we say that we have completed one semester, maybe first semester, second semester, or fourth semester, or fifth semester, or seventh semester, or eighth semester. When we mention any one semester, what does it mean in terms of NCRF? It means minimum learning hours of 600. Minimum teaching days, now it is teaching, 90. Now if minimum learning weeks, it is expected per semester to be 15, so we have to ensure our academic calendar shows minimum learning weeks of 15. Generally, in our university academic calendar, learning weeks per semester comes out to be 15 to 1780. So if it is 15, it has to be minimum, then it becomes 40 learning hours per week. 600 per semester divided by 15. So 40 learning hours per week. What is the takeaway for us? When I frame the syllabus, my syllabus shows, say, first column is serial number, second column is suppose course number, third is name of the course, fourth is learning. Earlier we used to call it teaching scheme. Now it should not be called as teaching scheme, it should be called as learning schemes. And in learning scheme, we give LTP, lecture, tutorial, practical. So we say that, okay, 3 hours per week for lecture, 1 hour for tutorial, 2 hours for practical, something like that. So after that, there should be a column of total learning hours per week, and summation of that column should not be less than 40. Generally, out of 40, contact hours are 28 to 32. So no increase in workload of a teacher. Teacher's workload will remain same. So presently, teacher's workload, what you wish to call it as contact hours, and student learning hours we used to call same. 28 to 32 hours used to be there in our teaching scheme. Now teaching scheme of 28 to 32 hours will remain same, but learning scheme will be of minimum 40. Now from where other learning hours will come? So definition of learning hour is quite expanded. Even homework, assignment, test, everything is counted as learning hour. So contact hours, teaching load remaining same, we have to ensure that our scheme of learning shows minimum 40 learning hours if our academic calendar is of 15 weeks in a semester. If it is of 17, 18, then it should be minimum 36 hours. So what is the takeaway from this, our slide, is our teaching scheme should be called as learning scheme, and the total learning hour per week should not be less than 40 if our academic calendar is of 15 weeks. If it is of 17, 18 weeks, then it should not be less than 36. When our, you can say, degree will be to be considered as equivalent to degree of any university in the country, then this will be seen whether if we show our learning hours at 28, 32, then probably tomorrow regularity authority will say, no, your degree is not at par with national standard. The degree must show 40 learning hours per week and minimum 20 credits per, you can say, semester. So our state government has accepted 20 to 22. So minimum 20, maximum 22 per semester. But we have to ensure in no way it goes down below 20 and learning hours do not go down below 40. Now, how these learning hours and credits are correlated? For theory or tutorial, 1 hour of learning per week is equivalent to 1 credit. Say, for example, my, you can say, teaching learning scheme or my timetable shows I have got a theory period of 3 periods per week or 3 hours per week. So 3 hours per week into 15 hours per semester, 15 weeks per semester. So 3 into 15, that is 45 hours per semester. So whatever is the total learning hours for theory or tutorial per semester, we have to divide it by 15 to get number of credit. So 3 into 15 upon 15, again it comes out to be 3. So if I have got 3 hours of learning in a week as per my timetable or my scheme, then it becomes a 3-credit course. If I have got 2 hours of practical, practicum or laboratory per week, then it becomes a 1-credit course. So 2 into 15, that is 30 hours of learning for practical or practicum. So 30 divided by again 15, so it becomes, you can say, accordingly, the number of credits it will come. Upon 30, sorry, 2 into 15 divided by 30 for practical, and number of hours per week multiplied by 15 divided by 15 is for theory and tutorial. This is how credits are linked with learning hours, and our present teaching scheme must be called as learning scheme rather than teaching examination scheme. Will become learning assessment, evaluation, and examination scheme. So this is the change which will come into our teaching scheme and in our timetable, and in our teaching plan now becomes teaching learning plan. So this type of changes will come when we say NEP is implemented. So I will just wait for 1 minute. If any question on understanding of credit, how the credits differ for theory, tutorial, practical, what do we mean by credits per week, credits per semester, credits per year, what are the component of learning hours? If anything, any doubt in understanding the summary or gist of National Credit Framework, we will wait for 2 minutes to answer those. Then we will go to qualification framework.
Yes, anyone please.
Sir, I think you said something about unit when we conduct a unit test, that is also the learning hours that is counted as a learning hours. Can you?
Sir,
Eh, hello?
assessment, it is not directly unit test only. We
Okay,
call it, suppose, self-learning. We give some assignments for self-learning.
correct.
So that hour we can also be counted to make it minimum 40 per week. See, what happens if you see our contact or workload point of view, our contact hours are 28 to 32 hours per week, generally inclusive of everything, theory, tutorial, and laboratory. So if we define only contact hours as learning hours, then per week contact hours cannot go beyond 30-32.
Correct.
So in this National Credit Framework, what is called as learning hours is very in detail described. For paucity of time, I have not taken that content, but you will find in that what comes under learning hours. So along with direct contact, even home assignment, self-learning, flipped learning, assessment, that part also from now, suppose it is peer assessment. So peer learning, that type of pedagogy is being used. One student is assessing other students. So that also can be counted. So in, overall, per week, learning hours should not be shown less than 40 in our scheme. Suppose our total contact hours are coming as 32, we have to definitely mention +8 or +6 hours as assessment self-learning hours, and make that column of learning hours not less than 40 per week.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So I hope credits have to be earned. They can be earned from all the types of education, domains of education. They can be earned from, say, some seminar, some participation, some field work, project work, NSS, sports, culture. Now, how to measure that credit is a challenge, and that we will come later on. What is the mechanism which is yet to be developed? How I can measure credits in NSS? How can I measure credits to be given in sports? How can I measure credits to be given in culture? Because there is lot many variety of it. So mechanism of awarding points and getting converted into credit, that process is on, and we can design also ourselves also. But right now, I repeat, two things are very clear. One academic year means minimum 1200 hours of learning. One academic year means minimum 40 credits, and credits are to be given after ensuring attainment of expected learning outcome after assessment by competent authority. So assessment by whom? Competent authority. Assessment of what? Attainment of learning outcome. What are learning outcome? At the beginning of any activity, the expected learning outcomes have to be mentioned. Now, this expected learning outcome should be in what? Regarding what? It should be regarding three domains of education. It can be cognitive, it can be psychomotor, it can be behavioral. What level has also to be mentioned. So this is how the credit framework will work in totality. This is what is the takeaway at the end of our session, that attributes are very clearly defined when we go to qualification framework. That time you will find what I'm trying to say. In a concrete example, it will be given over there. So to be right now, let us understand one thing, that credit can be on from three domains, but it has to be at various level depending upon the level of learner. Whether learner is at 4.5 level or 6 level. So corresponding to the level, the stage from 1 to 7, 1 to 6 of cognitive, or you can say psychomotor or affinitive has to be there. So learning level, expected outcome at that level, how many duration the student has taken learning, and whether the student is demonstrating the attainment of those expected outcome. Once these tests are passed, then credit has to be given. 1 hour of learning per week equivalent to 1 credit for theory, and 2 hours of learning per week equivalent to 1 credit. Minimum 600 hours per semester and minimum 20 credits. This is the national credit framework. Everybody in India, now it is in alignment with global standard also. So it becomes standardized globally as well as nationally. So anybody, any institute, any university, wherever it is located, will follow this framework when we say NEP is implemented. This is the nutshell of, you can say, the national credit framework. Now, let us go to qualification framework. Again, those who are interested, please go through this document available in public domain. You can say published by Ministry of Education. From concepts to implementation, a handbook for national qualification framework developer. So if we go through this document, you will find how many hours, how many days, how many months, how many years of deliberations and discussions have taken place internationally to come out with national qualification framework. One thing I want to bring again, this qualification framework, even though it is national, it is completely aligned with international standard. So alignment with international standard and to be accepted nationally for everybody is again the catchword for this national qualification framework too. Now here, it is very good document, right from the word qualification, everything is described in quite detail. So I have taken some summary extract of explanation of each of the term. So let us begin with, what does the word qualification mean as per this qualification framework? So it is formal awards with discipline-free nomenclature, certificate, diploma, bachelor's degree, master's degree, and doctoral degree. So the usual concept of qualification is accepted here also, that irrespective of the discipline, this, you can say, nomenclatures from certificate to doctoral degree will be called as qualification, one thing. Now, qualification will have necessarily to be awarded by competent authority, such as autonomous college or university or any other competent, say Swayam, whomsoever they have, the government will declare as competent authority, they will only be permitted to award qualification. So anybody who simply runs something and says that I have issued some certificate or I run certificate courses, that will henceforth not allowed. It has to be from competent authority. Now remember, this is more important for skilling courses because there is mushrooming of giving skilling and internships sort of a thing, like a market has grown up. It will not be allowed. It has to be, assessment has to be only by competent authority. Only then only it will be considered as valid. Now for what? It will be in recognition of attainment by student of the expected learning outcome on successful completion of particular program of study. See, each word is very important for us to understand. It has to be particular program of study. So obviously duration will be there, and it has to be given only after successful completion. And what is the definition of successful completion? It is demonstration by student of attainment of expected learning outcomes. So expected learning outcomes have to be given. Its attainment has to be measured by some competent authority. And when student shows, learner shows that the attainment is there, then only qualification is to be awarded. So all these stages must be completed before any qualification is awarded by even competent authority. See, again, the document says the qualifications are to be awarded only after assessment and evaluation of learning level. So attainment or attributes should be mapped with in accordance with learning level. Suppose the you can say we give some qualification specification of level 4.5 and we try to give award the certificate of level 5, it will not be allowed. So level corresponding to the level attributes are given later on, we will see. If those attributes are there corresponding to the level, after assessment and evaluation of demonstration of attainment, then only the award will be given, and this is to be conducted by competent authority that determines the achievement of the student by expected learning outcome of a given standard. Now, each qualification will be aligned with academic credit system. See, this is how all qualifications and credit framework are now interrelated with each other. Qualification is aligned with credit system on attainment of defined learning outcome and academic workload of student. Up till now, the word workload we used to associate with only teacher. Now it is associated with academic workload of student. So those are learning hours. Now this workload word takes care of classroom, practicum, tutorial, experiential learning, self-learning, complete everything together becomes a workload of the student, and that workload hours are related with credit and certificate is related with attainment of outcome. So understand now what is to be there. Workload should be very clearly specified. Learning outcomes, expected learning outcomes should be specified. There should be method of assessment and evaluation, and everything should be related with the level of learning. So level of learning, academic workload of student, learning outcome is assessment by competent authority All these together will lead to award of qualification. And this qualification will signify competence. We are going to level-based and competency-based education. And once this is, they will be able to allowed to follow certain occupation, or you can say profession or any practice. Now, this is all about the first word qualification. I have given you the only gist, extract to the extent possible. Now, once we have understood the meaning of the word now qualification, again, just to summarize, it will be related to level of learning, duration of learning, expected learning outcome, attainment of expected learning outcome, assessment and evaluation by competent authority. So when that is done, then certain qualification will be given. Now, those qualifications, we know they range from certificate to PhD degree. So they are arranged in some logical order, and that logical or structure, we call it as framework. So after understanding qualification, let us understand what is qualification framework. So qualification framework is a way of structuring existing and new qualifications. Now these qualifications are defined by learning outcome. These learning outcomes reflect graduate profile or attribute, and learning outcome, course learning outcome. So when they are structured in a form, then that structure is called a framework. Now this qualification will be given by certain statements or specifications. Now those statements and specifications are what the learner is expected to know, expected to understand, or expected to able to do, or expected to demonstrate after successful completion of that program. Those statements are called as specifications. So what are important now? Qualification is important as per the definition. Its structuring is important. And third is specifications along with each of the qualification. That is the general statements attached with each of the qualification. And this will lead to award of certificate, diploma, bachelor degree, master degree, and doctoral degree. So framework, after understanding qualification, we are trying to understand now qualification framework also. So we know it is structuring, making a pyramid of various qualification, and it will be competency-based education and training and outcome-based learning. These two constitute the important aspects of qualification framework. Now, this will be in three domains: knowledge domain, skill domain, value and attitude domain. These three domains are to be assessed by the student, and most important is mode of learning, mode of acquiring them is not important, but the attributes are important. See, this is a very red signal for all of us. A student is made liberal to acquire the given qualities, given specifications from whatever mode, online mode, offline mode, on the face-to-face mode, or on the job mode. You can say open source mode, blended mode. So mode of learning is not important as per this policy, but ultimate attainment of those outcomes is important. So what does it mean? It means a student does not go to formal schooling, but attends those required specification, may also be awarded with specification. When he is assessed, that student is assessed by some competent authority. This type of system is likely to come when fully NEP is implemented. As I was saying, Indian or national qualification framework, those that is aligned with international qualification framework too. So quickly, let us understand what are international qualification framework and how they are aligned with our national qualification framework. Bologna process is most, you can say, followed framework under European higher education area for developing NQF in European Union countries. This Bologna framework descriptors are called as Dublin descriptors. These descriptors are general statements about learning outcome that are expected to be achieved by student after completing a curriculum of studies and obtaining a qualification. Now, this Dublin descriptors and Bologna process is generally followed by our national qualification framework, because worldwide it is most accepted way of qualification framework. So there are many various other framework also, but our national qualification framework is aligned internationally with Bologna process and Dublin descriptors. So what does this Dublin descriptors? They are the 5 statements are given in 3 domains, and those attributes, if a student has attained those attributes, then it is said to be liable to get, you can say, certain qualification after earning certain credit. That is what those statements are given. Our national qualification framework is now aligned with Bologna process and Dublin descriptor. What is our, now up till now we have understood qualification, we have understood qualification framework. Let us now understand national qualification framework. This is very important statement, sir. It is an instrument for classification of qualifications according to a set of criteria for specified levels of learning achieved, which will integrate, coordinate the qualifications from each and every training sector into a single comprehensive qualification framework. What does it mean? This national qualification framework will be a single comprehensive qualification framework applicable to everybody. It will integrate and coordinate all qualifications from each education and training sector. So let it be training sectors like ITIs or polytechnics or private skilling training centers, or let it be educational institutions, schools, colleges, universities. So qualifications from each and every education and training center, they are put into a single comprehensive framework. And this comprehensive NQF has integrated everything. And it is based on a set of criteria for a specified levels of learning. So level of learning, set of criteria, their learning hours, their credit, its assessment, its learning outcome, all together in India is put into a single framework, and that is what is National Qualification Framework. All of us will be operating under this National Qualification Framework. Now, this National Qualification Framework is India, is for vocational qualification is there, for vocational educational qualification is there, for skill qualification framework is there, and from all these higher education qualification framework is there. They are also aligned with each other. But when we say national qualification in India, so there will be a qualification when framework for skill education called as NSQF. There will be qualification framework for with the higher education, or it is called as NHEQF. There is a qualification framework for vocational education qualification called as NBEQF. There is a qualification framework for vocational education and training also, NVTQF also. So after going through various qualification frameworks in India also, finally the NHEQF document is given for higher education. It has taken care of NSQF and other qualification framework also. So even though we know that there are NVQF, NBEQF, NSQF, for us, the applicable qualification will be NHEQF, and for to some extent, sometimes for vocational component of it, it will be for NSEQF. So all of us must be aware of NSQF and NHEQF when we design the curriculum, when we impart the curriculum, or when we assess, evaluate, or examine the students for it. So let us have a glimpse of NSQF. This national skill qualification is aligned with international standard qualification of occupation. I told you that it is journey from local to global through national. So first, national qualification framework is aligned with international standard classification of occupation in discussion with international level organization, and it also provides basis for new concept, that is RPL, recognition of prior learning. It is expected that dropout, etc., they will be reintegrated by aligning their practical experience with suitable level, relevant level of framework. See, this is very important. A student is dropout, but he has done some experiential occupation or experiential learning. The student will be tested by National Testing Agency. The level will be determined, and suitably the student can enter into higher level. So, for example, a student of 10th pass, that is level 3, may enter into university level 4.5, even though without doing 11, 12 at some point of time, because the student has achieved the level of 4 by experiential learning. That type of situation is expected, flexibility is expected when NEP is implemented in full term. So this framework will facilitate mobility across general and vocational education. So this cross, you can say, linking of general education with vocational education is done through National Skill Qualification Framework. Now, as per this notification of June 23, it will be outcome and competency-based framework, which will organize according to series of knowledge, skill, aptitude, responsibility level, which will be very clearly defined in terms of expected learning outcome. So this is how now this learning may be academic learning, maybe vocational learning, maybe training, maybe skilling, maybe experiential learning, maybe relevant experience or professional level. Only it will be subject to assessment. So assessment by competent authority is important for determining the level attained by any student, so that the student can come to the higher level once attainment is proved. So this is for NSQF. NSQF has got 8 levels from level 1 to 8. So level 1, 2, 3, 3.5 and 4 are generally up to 12. Generally, I use the word generally, but for with the higher education, level 4.5 to level 8. So 4.5 is generally we may call it as first year or final year of polytechnic or first year of our engineering. That is why final year diploma pass student is directly admitted to second year, because diploma is level 4.5 and our first year of engineering is also level 4.5. So final year diploma pass means completing level 4.5 is considered equivalent to be first year pass, that is level completing 4.5 of engineering education. So both first year to second year or diploma to direct second year both enter into level 5. So we are going competency based, level based education through this NSQF level. Now for each level 4.5, now this is the takeaway for us when we design the syllabus, we impart the syllabus, or we assess or evaluate. We must keep in mind, if I am teaching second year subject, it means I am teaching or students are learning for level 5. If I am teaching fourth year student, means students are learning at level 6. So level of skill, knowledge, responsibility, autonomy required to demonstrate the competency must commensurate with that level. So this is how I have to keep in mind when I design the course curriculum for various subjects at various years, means at various levels. I have to keep same in mind when I set the paper or assess the student of what level, what are the expected, you can say, level of knowledge, skill, responsibility, autonomy In consonance with those learning expectation, I have to assess only. So this is the responsibility on our shoulder, and we will be accountable for whether we are implementing this in true spirit or not. This is what we will be accountable when we set the syllabus, we impart the syllabus, we set the question paper. So level has to be kept in mind, and expected learning outcomes should be kept in mind. So this is NHEQF. You can say they will classify from level 4.5 to 8 for our higher education. Now, once we have understood international qualification framework, in fact, qualification framework, then Dublin descriptors, then the various types of qualification framework, national qualification framework. Now, what is relevant for us is national higher education qualification framework. Of course, this framework is also in alignment with NSQF and Dublin descriptors only. Since we have understood international framework and NSQF, it will be easier for us to understand NHEQF. Again, I request everybody to go through this public instrument, public document issued by Government of India, Ministry of Education, and you will find it is jointly prepared by UGC, AICTE, and all statutory bodies. So this qualification framework, NHEQF, is applicable to everybody in higher education. So this detail of this document are available in this document. Now, after understanding foundation part of qualification framework, international qualification framework, national qualification framework, national skill qualification framework. Now let us understand the levels, qualification and descriptors for NHEQF. So what we have understood up till now is that we are switching over to level-based education, competency-based education, credit-based education, attainment of expected learning outcome. Qualifications will commensurate with certain specifications, and with level and specifications, the qualifications will be given. So the, you can say, mapping of level and qualification is levels 4.5 means undergraduate certificate program. Its duration is first year, that is first 2 semesters of undergraduate program. So we are coming with multi-entry, multi-exit system. If a student exit after first year of complete learning, means completion of first 2 semesters of undergraduate program, the student will have to undergo 4 credit skill enhancement course or internship course, and student will be given certificate for that program, and it will be deemed to have completed level 4.5. Now, if the student goes out, then okay, he will get certificate. If he continues for second year, then this 4 credit course will not be necessary, nor certificate will be issued to him. It will be deemed to he has entered into level 5. And level 5 means first 2 years, that is semester 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 of that program. And if the student leaves after second year, he will be given, you can say, diploma, provided a 4 credit exit skill course or internship is completed lasting for 2 months. If a student enters into third year, so no certificate, no diploma, but he will be deemed to have entered into level 5.5. So level 0.5 is 3 years degree program. It will consist of 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6. 6 semesters, and we know 1 semester means 20 credit, 1 year means 40 credit. So 40 credits of first year, 40 credits of second year, 40 credits of third year. So minimum 120 credits, 1200 learning hours of first year, 1200 learning hours of second year, 1200 learning hours of third year. So minimum 3600 learning hours, minimum 120 credits. minimum achievement of level 5.5 specification, then student will be issued with 3 years degree program. Then 4 years, level 6, level 6.5, level 7, and finally level 8. So in this way, levels are, you can say, mapped with the qualifications, qualifications as well as duration. Duration means learning hours. Learning hours, notional learning hours means number of credit. This is how in NHUQF levels are mapped with qualifications. Qualifications are mapped with duration. Qualifications are mapped with expected learning outcome. Qualifications are mapped with minimum credits to be earned. And this is called as National Higher Education Qualification Framework. As I was telling, with each of the level and each of the qualification, there will be qualification descriptors. And when we say we issue certain qualification, when we say that we have assessed and ensure that students have demonstrated the attainment of learning outcomes of that level, what does it mean? It means the student shows the attribute related to that specifications of that level, and it is known as qualification descriptors. Those are the statements, those are the clear-cut specifications which student must demonstrate with corresponding level. So this, we know that any NHEQF, the degree or any qualification is described in terms of learning outcome. So each level is structured based on defined learning outcome. And these learning outcomes are statements. What the learner is expected to know, expected to understand, the student should be able to do on successful completion of approved program of study or learning at specified level. So students should be able to demonstrate those attributes defined in terms of learning outcome, whether acquired through any mode of learning, such as direct in-person, face-to-face instruction, open and distance learning, online education, hybrid, blended. So mode of learning is not important. Demonstration of those attributes and expected learning outcomes is important. And those statements are given again in 3 domains. So that is why I told that first part of our discussion was important to understand the pillars of NEP, what is education, what are types of education, and domains of education. Now, those domains of education and levels of each of the domain are related with now qualification framework. So we know there are 3 domains plus skilling. So cognitive domain, psychomotor domain, affective domain. Each domain has got levels, Bloom's taxonomy. Say in case of cognitive, from memorizing to synthesis, so various levels. So depending upon level of qualification, whether it is certificate level, diploma level, degree level, 4-year degree level, or postgraduate diploma level, or postgraduate level, or PhD level. So depending upon level, the domain cognitive will remain same, but expectation, those 7 stages will change. Probably at lower level, memorizing, understanding may be more focused, while for higher qualifications, synthesizing, critical analysis, such thing, evaluation, those part of cognitive domain will be important. So when we design a syllabus, we have to understand for what level we are designing the syllabus, what are the expected learning outcome of that level, and we have to devise our evaluation, assessment, and examination system to ensure the demonstration of attribute relevant to and mapping with that level. So you will find that these descriptors are for these 3 domains which we already discussed: cognitive, psychomotor, affective, and skilling. Say, for example, in NHEQF or NSQF also, those are described for 5 types. May I use the word with your permission again, domain. Now you will find they are aligned with Dublin descriptors or the same process, Bologna process or internationally European qualification framework. What are those areas in which the specifications are given? Process, professional knowledge depending upon level, professional skills expected depending upon level, core skills like aptitude, mindset, soft skills, employment readiness, entrepreneurship skills, and most importantly, responsibility, which a student is expected to be capable of, depending upon whether he is certificate or whether he is diploma holder, degree holder, what level of responsibility the student can take. And that we have to ensure in assessment that this is how we have assessed, and we say that okay, he is responsible, he can take responsible for this level. So let us understand. So process is general summary of all other domains. Now the second is professional knowledge. So we have to ensure when we design the syllabus year wise, that is level wise, what is expected, what learners should know and understand with reference to subject and or field of knowledge. We have to very clearly describe in terms of depth, breadth, kind of knowledge and complexity, whether it is of first year or certificate level or fourth year or you can say level 6. So what you can say depth, breadth, kind of knowledge is expected depending upon level. Depth of knowledge can be general or specialized. Breadth can be single topic to multidisciplinary area. Kind of knowledge can be concrete to abstract. Complexity can be combination of kind, depth, breadth knowledge. So second attribute of, you can say, professional knowledge is important. Then third is professional skills or core skills. So what the learner should be able to do depending upon level. Cognitive creative skills involving the use of logical critical thinking, communication skills, written, oral, literacy, numeracy, computing skills, interpersonal skills, generic skills, depend what to level, that had to be very clearly specified for first year, second year, third year, final year, or level 4.5, 5, 6, 6.5, something like that. Core skills, including information technology skills needed for given level of study and work. Then response, remember, again I repeat, the what for education, we are education provider. What is the responsibility? What for we are providing education? We are providing education so that student is ready with future skill and knowledge for his future job roles. From that perspective, these five area statement are to be given. In case of responsibility, to what extent student can be entrusted with his own work or others' responsibility. The degree of supervision that a person needs when doing a job. Degree of supervision a person is capable of exercising over others, that is the level at which the learner can supervise others. It determines nature of working relationship, level of responsibility for self and others, managing change, and accountability for action. So we have to very clearly specify the statement for this. Now, for example, already NHEQF has specified, we know we have to, these specifications are fortunately already given by NSQF and NHEQF. I will show you for each of the level how it is given. What is our role is understand those specifications, those prescriptions given for each level. And when we design our syllabus, our curriculum, or when we impart it or we evaluate it, that time those prescriptions we have to keep in mind. It should not happen that we are doing something for level 4.5 for certificate and we are so much putting the stuff or examining it which is expected of level 6. Then we will be accountable. When you are doing anything for first year for certificate level for 4.5, it must match with expected learning outcome, as now we will see after this slide. Very clearly, all specification prescriptions are given in NHEQF for each of the level. We have to implement, and uniformity will be in that respect. So this is the framework which is most important probably for all of us who are education providers. Now it will be suppose level 4.5. So level 4.5 means first year, what we call. So for that level, what is expected? Knowledge of fact, principle, processes, concept in the field of work or field of study, or cognitive and practical skills required to complete the task assigned, solve problem by selecting and applying basic methods, tools, material, information, mathematical skills up to collecting, organizing information and communication skills. These are the prescriptions given for level 4.5. About responsibility level, the one who is coming out of level 4.5, suppose somebody exit after first year, after getting certificate, what is expected that the you can say certificate holder should be able to work in a familiar situation, but also when some problem arises, the job holder should be able to make choices about best procedures to adopt to address problem where choices are clear. They will be responsible for completion of their own work mainly, and expected to learn and improve the performance on the job. Lifelong learning attitude should be there. They will be required to well develop practical and cognitive skills to complete the work. They may also have responsibility to small extent for other works. And those who come out from certificate will generally be in the job role as fully skilled worker or supervisor. So our certificate holder, that is level 4.5, that is those who pass first year clearly and go exit, they will be in a job role. We are preparing them for the job role of supervisor. That is what has to be kept in mind. Suppose a student is in second year, that is diploma level, then what is expected? So I will not again read it. This is what awareness about standard, non-standard practices, mathematical calculation and logical communication, specific problems to find the solution. This is what are the attributes required for second year student. And they will be able to do the job. Very communication should be clearly in speech, writing, and they should be able to apply mathematical processes, collect and organize information, solve problem by selecting and applying methods, tools, material, information. They will be expected to have previous knowledge and skills in the occupation because they are in diploma now. They are above supervisor. So this is what our expectations or specifications or prescription for second year student. So similarly, it will be there for third year. You will find that now the word command and proficiency, routine, non-routine, factual, theoretical, cognitive, practical, solutions for new problems, presentation skill. So their attributes level goes on increasing as they go from level 4.5 to 5 to 5.5. I will not read it. Time is also not there, but I will share it so you can find it. What are the prescriptions given for third year student? Now, what type of job they are expected? They will be masters or they will be trainers. That level of, you can say, competency is expected from level 5.5. So level 4.5 was skilled worker or supervisor, but level 5.5, they become masters, trainers, or junior managers. So that is how the job roles will change according to this. Now I will compare it level wise and expected. Now here in NHEQF, it is a very nice document for all of us to put in practice when we design the syllabus, we impart the syllabus, we assess the student, we evaluate the student, we examine the student. This should be kept in mind. Say, for example, element of descriptor is cognitive domain, that is knowledge and understanding. But if the student is of first year, that is level 4.5, that is undergraduate certificate level, you will find what is expected in this domain is understanding of the linkage between learning areas within and across the chosen field of study. This is what is expected. So first year syllabus, first year, you can say course content should address to this attribute. When it comes to second year, it is expected deeper knowledge and understanding of one of the learning areas. Now here, major, minor will come into picture. Now student in first year will see various areas, and in second year, that is why change of branch is permitted in second year. Now the student has come to conclusion that, okay, this is what I am interested in. I have tested all different domains, 3-4 areas I have tested. Now I know that I want to go for particular one area. Maybe I want to go for major as computer, minor as IT, or I have to go for major as mechanical, minor as IT. Okay. Now once a student has chosen area of interest, there from diploma, that is second year, that is level 5, he will go into deeper knowledge and understanding one of the learning areas and its underlying principle and theory. So this is our syllabus framing guideline or examination guideline. Now he comes to level 5.5, that is third year, where 3 years degree, maybe BO degree. If a student leaves after 3 years in engineering, student may be awarded with BO degree also. What is expected? Knowledge of the current and emerging issues and developments within the chosen field of learning. See, the area specification has increased. So our syllabus content of third year should have this type of requirement from knowledge point of view, where current and emerging areas are given, whatever interest area, whatever major subject student has chosen. In that, this is how from first year to second year and second year to third year, syllabus content and expected learning outcomes will go. Now, if I have given only few examples, detailed examples are given in NHEQA, and even model syllabus are also given by AICT based on this qualification framework. If I go to second domain, that is application of knowledge and skills, you will find that if he is of first year level 4.5 certificate, the skills are to select and use basic methods and tools. While if you go to second level, range of cognitive and practical skill to gather quantitative as well as qualitative data. And if he goes to third year, it is not only gathering, but now analysis of data to assess its appropriateness and different approaches. He will not go by only one approach. By the time he comes to third year, his area becomes so optimization. What are different approaches? First year, one single approach. Second year, general quantitative, qualitative gathering. But third year, analysis, critical analysis, problem solving, different approaches, generating right solutions, employing right approaches. So these are the qualification specifications required in this application of knowledge skill, that is that domain area, depending upon different level and different qualification. Now, skills required to perform or accomplish tasks, you will find as you go from 4.5. Here, it will be use of relevant method. But here, it will be analyzing and synthesizing ideas. While in third year, you will find that evaluating and analyzing. So, level in first cognitive level, we know from memorizing to evaluation, the level goes on increasing, and that is reflected in the specifications or prescriptions given for various levels depending upon the domain. So same is for employability skills, entrepreneur skills, and mindsets. Now, when we come to third domain, affective domain. So again, I repeat, complete education means mainly 3 domains along with skilling, of short-term skilling, domain specific or immediate job demand related skilling of 3 months, 6 months, 12 credit, 30 credit is fourth component. But generally, education means cognitive domain, psychomotor domain, affective domain. Each domain, different level and stages, and that level gets mapped with level of education like 4.5, 6.5, and level is mapped with credit learning hours and attainment of learning outcomes leading to qualification. This is what is a common framework under which everybody of us will be operating. Now, third domain is affective domain. So, constitutional, humanistic, and moral values. We know it is very clearly mentioned that values and dispositions decide the way person works. His motivation level, loyalty, those depend upon the value system. And here, if he is the student of certificate level, first year level, moral, humanist, and ethical values have to be given, but it is expected that whatever values are already set, those the student should embrace. This is what is expected from level 4.5. But as we go to level 5.5 or 6, it is expected that a person is able to create the value system. And those created value systems, he should be inculcated into the complete hierarchy. So expectation from higher level is different. Even this value and disposition domain, depending upon level and qualification, certificate, diploma, degree, you will find that even for this behavioral domain, the expected learning outcomes are different, and we have to ensure this through practicals, through projects, through cultural events, through, you can say, sports events, through social events, NSS, UBA. We have to ensure such type of value systems get inculcated, and not only that, we have to ensure tomorrow we will have to demonstrate that how you have ensured attainment of those values for first year separately, second year separately, and final year separately. So complete rubrics to, you can say, evaluate, assess, and examine these attribute descriptors will have to be designed by each of us. This is what will be called as implementation of NEP. Now, depending upon this last part, now few minutes we will keep for question answer also. So you will find, once we have understood what is education, purpose of education, types of education, domains of education, levels of education, qualifications of education, credit system. Now, considering all this, when finally it is coming to implementation for UG curriculum, which if you see the GR, Government of Maharashtra GR or Amravati University's complete regulations and direction regarding NEP curriculum implementation, you will find it is divided into certain verticals. Now, those verticals, if you see, they are all these three domains and various levels and qualification descriptors, nothing else. Those are related with those 5 qualification statement or specifications or prescriptions, whatever you call. See, choice of major and minor. So one of the subjects of interest, it is expected that first year there will not be major minor. Student will be exposed to general various courses of the area chosen. Student might have chosen science, maybe commerce, maybe arts, humanities, maybe engineering. So first year, the student will be exposed to various domains or courses of the field he has chosen to pursue higher education. But there, it will not, no subject will go into too much depth, too much breadth. It will only expose students. So content should not be too heavy in first year syllabus. And once first year is completed, 2 semesters are completed, 1200 learning hours are completed, students had earned 40 credits, and the student decides to go to the next level, not to exit. Second year, he will choose one or few of the areas in detail to study in detail depending upon interest. So that is how choice of major and minor will come. So this is the first vertical based on those NHEQF requirement, that student requirement specification of first year are different. Now second year, a student going to more depth, more breadth of the one or few areas. Don't heavily load with all subjects together to the student. Now let him concentrate on few of his interest area. Simultaneously, the generic IAS, specific IAKS, those generic is for general, specific is for the major subject which he has chosen. The another part, experiential learning, project-based learning, that is the important component along with cognitive, psychomotor, and affinitive. So equal weightage is given for internship, field-based learning, practices, community engagement, service. Now you will find they fall in other areas. First part is academic education, cognitive domain, 7 levels from memorizing to critical thinking and synthesizing. That will go with academic part. Second domain of skilling, vocational and skill enhancement, integration of vocational education with professional education, integration of vocational education with academic education. That is why the component of vocational skill enhancement courses, that component has given very good which 8 to 10 credits are provided, and it will start from second year because it will be related to major. First year will be life skills, so skill enhancement. Second year will be vocational skills, so particularly related to certain work role in the economy. So there, suppose a student is from computer, he will decide whether he wants to study, go for, you can say BF, IT applied to BFSI, IT applied to, you can say, some other domain, cyber security or information security or full stack developer. So depending upon the job role in the market and student interest, some vocational, we have seen the definition of vocational. Vocational is knowledge, attitude, skills, but related to certain work environment in the economy, specific to certain occupation. So we have to understand what are various job roles after 4, 5, 6 years, and depending upon those job roles, we have to provide vocational skill enhancement to the student, which will make him fit to work in that job role. So these are the various verticals. 7 verticals are provided in, I just mentioning few of them. It covers all 3 domains and all the levels. Now, when we will design our syllabus, we have to ensure all verticals of NEP are embedded in our scheme, and the course content are mapping with the level 4.5 or 5.5 or 6, mapping with it, and learning outcomes are very clearly mentioned, and the specifications with that level or prescriptions which are already given in NHEQF should be kept in mind while designing the syllabus, delivering the syllabus, or evaluation, assessing, or examining the students, so that after attainment they become eligible to earn the credit and the qualification. Now, last one, of everything, whatever we have discussed up till now, will finally come into outcome-based education, that is learning outcome-based curriculum framework. Now, this document is also available in public domain, given by Ministry of Education, jointly by UGC and in consultation with, you can say, AICT. So this document is also applicable to all of us nationally and in alignment with international standards. So this outcome-based education begins with writing the program outcomes. NBA or NAC, they have given 12 to 14 program outcomes. UGC AICT has also endorsed them. So we need not have to prepare again. graduate attributes or program outcomes for our program. Those 12 or 14 outcomes have to only suitably modify to our program by putting the right word. But overall program outcomes are already given by national bodies in alignment with international. If you critically analyze those program outcomes, 12 or 14, you will find they lie only in three domains. Either they belong to cognitive, they belong to psychomotor or skill or training, or they belong to, you can say, behavior, value, disposition, or environment. Only three domains, they cover all those 12, 14 POs. So it is very sure that system will be based on only those domains, even though it is outcome-based system. So first, see the program outcomes which are nationally common for every institution and every university. Only those 12, 14 have to be taken, and they have to be suitably, few words have to be put for our program. Then comes program educational objective, which matches with certain parallel to mission 3-4 statements. Then PSO or PLO, those are the statement where we assure 3 to 4 statement we have to give. Those are job specific. Suppose I am designing a program for chemistry. So I will write that students will be able to perform in pharmaceutical industry, in chemical industry, or analytical chemistry, or environmental chemistry. So 3-4 statement relevant to where our student will be able to perform. Those learning outcomes very clearly, job role or job area or area of economics where a student will be performing his occupation or profession. A student may become a researcher. So one PO or PLO will be regarding research. Student may go to teaching profession. So one or two, you can say PLO can be for teaching profession. Student may go to quality control lab. Student may go to petroleum industry. Student may go to pharmaceutical industry. So your program, for what type of job role you are designing your syllabi, that has to be given in 3 or 4 statements. So that we call it as PLO. Now, once PO are ready, PO are ready, PLO are ready. Now you know that you are preparing the student for these 3-4 areas. Then level-wise, year-wise, your course outcome and course learning outcomes have to be given for each course. At the end of learning my course, student will be able to. Now those verbs which are to be used, 5-6 statement we have to write. Now we have to ensure that they should go for all three domains wherever relevant: cognitive, skilling, value or dispositions, and depending upon whether my course is for level 4.5 or level 6.5, I should use proper word. I should not write my student will be able to recall, recite. Memory-based work should be minimum. Even understand, at the end of course, my student will be able to understand. If it is completely new concept, then you can use the word understand. But most of the time for higher education, after first year, it should start from my student will be able to apply. My student will be able to analyze. some sort of higher order stages verb of Bloom's taxonomy on three domains we have to use when we write course outcome. One more thing, generally we say that university decides all these things, but no, we have freedom to add one or two course outcome depending upon our specific location, our specific domain. We can add one or two COs or PLOs. POs are of course common. It is given by statutory bodies nationwide, they will be common. But definitely PSO, PLO and COs, we can one or two alter if we require. But when we go for assessment, we have to ensure that whatever COs we have accepted, our assessment, evaluation, and examination, we should be able to demonstrate the attainment of those. Means, suppose I write one question number 1 and it is about CO number 2, my course outcome, that after learning this, student will be able to apply or solve something. And I said, okay, I have given certain problem, some case study, and I have asked student to solve that problem. You say that, okay, that course is mapping, my question is mapping with course outcome number 3 to solve certain problem in specific situation. Then I have to see if my students are 16 number, how many of them have they correctly solved that question. So attainment level will have also to be mentioned very clearly. This is how we will be moving towards, you can say, outcome-based education. So some planning for some of the courses I have given, we have to decide whether we are monodiscipline, multidiscipline, or interdiscipline. We have to write the, you can say, program outcomes. We have to write learning outcome. Examples I have given. Now, since time is up, I will just very fast go through one type of syllabus, pattern of syllabus, and on similar line, all our syllabus should be framed when we say that LOCF is implemented, learning outcome based curriculum framework, means writing the syllabus in this format. So these are the POs. These are PLO. See, here chemistry student will be able to work in analytical, inorganic, organic, physical, and subfield of environmental material science. And the student will be able to work in the field of chemistry or related non-chemical industry sector. Successful career in pharmaceutical, chemical, teaching, research, environmental monitoring. So these are the types of PLO. Very clearly I have to specify. Accordingly, I should write the syllabus. These are the COs: recognize, describe, explain, recognize, explain. See, memorize or recall, such type of words are not there because it is semester 4. So here understanding, then explaining concept, this type of words are to be used. So it is a domain level of minimum 2, 3, 4. So this is how the COs will be done. Now exactly I will keep 5 to few minutes for question answer. And before I stop, let me express my sincere gratitude to all the learned participants who have patiently listened for last 3 hours. It's not easy for teachers to listen. I tried to cover up the fundamental concepts and of philosophy of NEP and the, you can say, frameworks under which all of us will be operating irrespective of the location or type of institutions we are working. If we are in higher education domain, everybody will be operating under this framework. So no choice for going away from credit framework, no choice from going away from qualification framework. So everybody of us will be operating under this framework. So I express my sincere thanks to begin with my dear friend Ankit, who is always kept my enthusiasm high by nice words. Our director of UGC, HRDC or MMTTC, Dr. Atik sir, our registrar, pro vice chancellor, and our honorable vice chancellor. So thank you, Dr. Babasaheb Naik Engineering College, our center, and all you participants. Now, I will like to answer if some queries are there. Otherwise, from my side, even though it was a just bird's eye view, now you will learn this NEP in detail on all the parameters in coming session. So thank you very much.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sir, first of all, very much thankful for giving such a wonderful information on NEP 2020. You have explained all the framework given by government implementing the NEP. such a wonderful experience we had for today. Very nice experience. Very good information you have given on. Sir, I have one query. Actually, we have seen the seven verticals for semester one or NEP. As far as the major and minor is concerned, you are saying कि student can select the major and minor in level 5.
Yes.
But in level 4.5 in the first year, student can select maximum. Let's consider the student have selected one as a computer subject, another as physics subject. But they are they have to select one more subject, that is a skill enhancement course. But skill enhancement course is only for the major subjects. But as you are saying, ki major subjects are selected in the level 5 only. But it is also given in level 4.5. So which SEC students can opt for? Because they
Thank
have
you, sir.
to.
Anil sir, I am really thankful to you because there is misconception about vocational skill enhancement course and skill enhancement course. If you critically read the guidelines and the GR, you will find skill enhancement course is expected to be given in first and second semester and vocational skill enhancement course from third semester onward. This VSEC has got two components. One is SEC and other is VSEC. Because it is not properly understood, this first semester, second semester SEC is also given major or minor type those courses. It is not correct. A day after few years or after few days, our people will have to correct themselves. Skill enhancement course, it talks about for first year, life skills. It is not about vocational skills. It is expected that in first year, imagine present our 12th standard student are coming either from science background or humanities background or from commerce background because after 10th, presently students get trifurcated into science, arts or commerce as of today. But when NEP will be implemented in school, it will not be 10 plus 2. It will be 8 plus 4. So 9, 10, 11, and 12, there will not be bifurcation like science student, art students, or commerce student. Students will take subjects from various baskets and they will be 12th standard level 4 student having number of different subjects, some science subjects, some commerce subject also. That type of student will come to first year. Now after 12th and appearing for some testing examination like CET, there they will get diversified into arts, science, commerce, engineering. So not like that what is presently happening at after 10, number one. Now 12 student having number of subjects studied up in 12 but entering into say engineering. So that time it is expected that student is exposed to minimum 2 or maximum 3 subjects of the faculty which he has chosen. Our faculty is science and engineering. So there may be some subject of science, some subject of engineering. This is what tomorrow will happen. And that time, first year SEC should be life skills related courses. Now, after passing second semester, he will some student might have selected after 12th only. Say in our engineering, our admissions are done course-wise. So that time only student has selected, you can say computer as subject or mechanical as subject or civil as. Now the student has come, imagine a student with who has, that is why we provide change of branch, that choice is all there after first year also. It is expected that first year will be general expositions to 2 or 3 subjects and skill will be generic skill, life skills, and vocational skills will start from second year. This is the concept of implementation of NEP. Anil sir, does it satisfy your query?
Yes, sir. But actually, in our college, what we did, sir, many students have selected computer as a major subject, and
Right.
those candidates have given SEC examination. But
Yes.
those have selected another subject as the physics or mathematics, they are not given examination of SEC. There was confusion ki who will select that SEC subject, because our body says SEC can be selected by only those students who goes for the major subject.
No, no. That is what I am saying. There is little bit still misunderstanding. As
Right.
far as my knowledge and my understanding goes, first year SCC has nothing to do with major minor. It is life skills which is expected in first semester or second semester. And vocational skills, see, if you see the GR, you will find VSEC has two components. One is SEC, wherein there is no mention of major minor. And second is VSEC, where VSEC should be from major or minor. So first year is expected, very clearly given, SEC in first year, first or second semester. And what is that skill? It is not vocational skill. There is a difference between skill and vocational skill. Vocational skill is for specific vocation. That is for major or minor. And only skill is for life skills. If you go to G1 Kaushalya 2.0 of UGC, just for academic interest, go to Google, type life skills or G1 Kaushalya 2.0 UGC. Complete syllabus, subject, method of teaching, method of assessment, what subject come under SEC, it is very clearly given. So what is expected in first year is life skills. What is expected after second semester are vocational skills. That is why there is some confusion later on. Probably at some time it will see it was the first batch. So certain anomalies might be there which have to be sorted out. It may be because many people have interpreted in different ways.
Yes, sir.
So it
Thank
is
you,
the
sir.
initial teaching trouble, you can call it. But over the period, it will get corrected.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
But in our university, in Amravati University, VSEC is mentioned from second semester onwards, sir.
It should be from third semester, sir. If you see the GR or the spirit of, you can say, NEP, it states SEC. See, VSEC, there is one vertical given as VSEC. And in VSEC, there are two components. One is
Yes, sir.
SEC and other is VSEC.
Correct.
And VSEC should be for major or minor. When the student is not clear about major and minor in second semester, how VSEC can be given in second semester?
But
It has
sir,
to
in
be.
GR they mention that in that particular in second sem, they
No,
mention the
GR
2
talks
credit
about
points.
third semester. GR talks about third semester.
Yeah, because in our Amravati University, whatever the NEP GR we got from university side, they mention VSEC 2 credits from semester 2 itself.
It should be from, in my opinion, it should be from semester 3 and SEC should be in semester 1 and 2. Please see the government GR 20th April or RD Kulkarni report on implementation of NEP, which is accepted by Government of Maharashtra. Very clearly it is given. It may be a little bit understanding or misunderstanding or interpretation or misinterpretation of the, you can say, words given. So over the period, it will get corrected, sir. Definitely. Because basic question is, when major is decided after second semester, how can VSE be in second semester? Which is
Correct,
relevant for
correct.
major.
Actually, that's why we get confused.
Confused? Yes,
How
sir.
it is possible?
Very, very, very true, sir. Okay, that things will get corrected. I should not speak that, but anyway, that will get corrected.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ankit, I think we should stop now. Participants, should we stop?
Yes, sir. If there are no more questions or the queries, so we can conclude sir, this session.
Please, please.
Yeah. So on behalf of Malviya Mission Teacher Training Center, Sant Gadge Baba, Amravati University, and Dr. Babasaheb Naik, College of Engineering and Technology, I extend my sincere gratitude towards Professor Marathe sir for being with us, enlighten us, and gives us the clear-cut roadmap towards this policy. With special reference to the National Credit Framework, NHQF and NHQF, NSQF. And sir, really you have broadened our perspective towards implementing strategies and understanding of this national education policy. And definitely, sir, we will in upcoming future we will definitely implement it with its zest that has been accepted by the policymakers. So I once again extend my sincere thanks to you. I also extend my sincere thanks to all the participants for their patience listening and active participation. And with the kind consent of Professor Marathe sir, I would like to declare that this session will be over here. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.